You send a message. The little bubble says delivered. Then nothing. No reply, no reaction, no typing dots. Minutes pass. Then hours. And something strange happens in your body. You check the phone again. You replay what you said. You wonder if you did something wrong. It seems small, just silence on a screen. But the nervous system does not treat it like nothing. It treats it like a door closing. Long before we had phones, read receipts, or ghosting, scientists found this same wound in one of the most unsettling experiments in psychology. A mother sits facing her baby. At first, everything looks ordinary. She smiles, the baby smiles back. She raises her eyebrows, the baby wiggles. She speaks in that soft, exaggerated voice parents use without thinking. The baby reaches, laughs, and answers with little sounds. It is not a conversation with words, but it is a conversation. Then, suddenly, the mother turns away. When she turns back, her face is empty. No smile, no voice, no reaction. Just a still face. The baby tries again. A smile, a reach, a sound. Nothing. The baby tries harder, bigger gestures, more noise, more movement. Still nothing. And then the mood changes. The baby looks confused, then distressed. The body twists, the face collapses. The baby begins to cry. Not because food disappeared, not because warmth disappeared, not because the room became dangerous, but because response disappeared. But here is where it gets strange. The experiment lasts only a short time, often just a couple of minutes. And still, the baby reacts as if something essential has been removed from the world. This is the still face experiment. It was developed in the 1970s by psychologist Edward Tronick and his colleagues, and it revealed something simple but devastating. Human beings are not built only to be cared for. We are built to be answered. From the beginning of life, a baby searches the face of another person like it is reading weather. Is it safe? Am I seen? Are you with me? Do I exist in your mind? The baby does not understand language yet, but it understands rhythm. Smile and smile back. Sound and sound back. Reach and response. This back and forth is called attunement. And it is one of the first ways love becomes real. Not as an idea, as timing, as eye contact, as a face that changes because you are there. But when that rhythm suddenly breaks, the baby does not simply get bored. The baby protests. Because the silence feels like a rupture, a missing signal, a tiny social emergency. And maybe that is why being ignored hurts so much, even as adults. We like to pretend we are more evolved than this. We tell ourselves to be mature, to stop caring, to not need validation, to not take silence personally. But the body is older than the advice. When someone withdraws without explanation, the mind starts searching. Did I matter? Did I do something? Are they gone? Should I try harder? Should I disappear too? Ghosting hurts because it turns a person into a still face. The screen is there. The contact name is there. The memory of warmth is there. But the response is gone. And the brain hates unresolved social pain. It would almost rather have bad news than no signal at all. A clear rejection gives the mind a shape. Silence gives it a maze. But here is where the false belief starts to break. We often think the need for response is weakness. We call people needy, clingy, sensitive, too much. But the still face experiment suggests something different. The need to be answered is not a flaw in human design. It is human design. A baby reaches for connection because connection is part of survival. For most of history, being ignored by the group could mean danger. Being unseen could mean exclusion. Being excluded could mean death. So the nervous system learned to monitor faces, voices, pauses, tone, delay. Even now in modern America, where silence may only mean someone is busy, the ancient alarm still wakes up. It does not ask, is this reasonable? It asks, am I alone? And that question can shake a person. This is why the silent treatment can feel so punishing. It is not just the absence of words, It is the removal of relational oxygen. The person is physically present, but emotionally unreachable. A face becomes a wall. A room becomes cold. The other person's silence starts to control the weather inside your chest. And often, the one being ignored tries exactly what the baby tries. They smile. They joke. They explain. They apologize. They get louder. They get smaller. They reach. Anything to bring the face back. Anything to make love respond again.
But here is the part that makes the experiment more than sad. When the mother returns to normal, many babies recover. They reconnect. They settle. They come back into rhythm. The rupture matters, but so does repair. This may be one of the most hopeful truths in psychology. Connection does not have to be perfect. It has to return.
Parents do not need to respond every second. Partners do not need to say the perfect thing. Friends do not need to be available at all times. But when disconnection happens, repair tells the nervous system something powerful. You were not abandoned. The bridge is still here. We can find each other again. That is what many people are missing. Not constant attention, not endless reassurance, not a world where nobody ever disappoints them. They are missing repair. The message after silence, the apology after withdrawal, the softening after conflict, the face that says, I left for a moment, but I came back.
And maybe that is why loneliness today feels so strange. We are surrounded by signals, notifications, profiles, messages, faces on screens. But responsiveness is not the same as visibility. You can be seen by hundreds of people and still feel unanswered by the one person who matters. You can have a full inbox and still feel emotionally alone, because the nervous system does not only count contact, it listens for presence.
The still face experiment is disturbing because it shows us ourselves before we learn to hide, before pride, before sarcasm, before pretending not to care. A baby reaches, and when no one reaches back, the baby breaks. Not because the baby is weak, because the baby is human. And maybe adulthood is not the loss of that need. Maybe adulthood is just learning how to disguise it. We call it overthinking. We call it attachment. We call it insecurity. We call it drama. But underneath, the question is ancient and small. Are you still there with me? So the next time silence hurts more than it should, maybe it is not because you were fragile. Maybe it is because some part of you remembers that love was never just about being near someone. It was about being met. In the end, we do not only need a hand to hold. We need a face that changes when it sees us.